Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome finally to my WrestleMania 29 prediction show. Now this is a very big card we got. I mean it's not as big as some of the other WrestleManias we had. We got roughly 9 matches, maybe a possible 10, counting if, or 11, counting if the U.S. Championship is contested. I doubt it's going to be. The match that I'll mention along with this, which is the Divas Championship, I'll mention where it is possibly on the card and what will happen. That's if it's even shown. But let's get to this card. Now I'm putting them in this order. It's good possibility they won't be in this order. But it's a possibility that at least if they are in this order, it would make some sense how they've been built and what is shown on the show. I'm not just talking about the wrestling. Now, we already know about the pre-show. The pre-show has The Miz with Wade Barrett for the IC Championship. I really wasn't fond of knowing this is going to the pre-show. But it's understandable. They've had almost no build for this. This could have been an epic match. You got Dead Man Down versus the Marine 3. The Marine 3 versus Dead Man Down's Star. They could have built this over a 2-month period, but they've been so sloppy about it. It's sad. Now, how do I feel about the match itself? It'll be a good match. These guys do have good chemistry together. Put each other over very well. Who do I think is going to win? Do not think they're going to allow Wade Barrett to keep the belt anymore. I do believe that The Miz will win this belt and become a Triple Crown winner. After everything they put The Miz through, they raised him up, then buried him, and now turned him face and raised him up again. And then not getting the U.S. Championship and having almost nothing to do. This has got to be his reward. Is it a great reward? No. I'd rather see him in the world title picture. But he is a very, from what I understand, a modest guy. He doesn't have a problem doing a program in the IC division. Has no problem doing it there in mid-card. And that's not bad. We need something to be done with the IC Championship. And since Miz is now a face, this will be a nice change. It's not like we haven't seen him as IC Champion and did something with the US Championship. But he was heel then. So seeing this, it'll be hopefully something different. And I'm going to leave it at that. Now for the show itself. This is what my card, I believe, is going to be in this order. The first match will be for the Tag Team Championship. Biggie Langston and Dolph Ziggler versus Hell No. And there's a good chance I do not see Hell No retaining. Because it makes, if Hell No retains this, I'm very confused on what the hell are they doing. These guys were supposed to be split up around the time of Elimination Chamber. And it wasn't done. And now that we stretch beyond that, what do we got here? I don't understand the situation we're dealing with when it comes to Hell No. Especially now what happened with Paul Bearer. I'm really sad that Paul Bearer is dead. That William Motley is dead. But this would also be a very good catalyst to break Daniel Bryan and Kane apart. But it looks like they're keeping them. They're not really funny anymore. They're not doing anything with Dr. Shelby anymore. So what do we have with these guys? They're not as funny as they used to be. They're not doing anything progression for their characters. They're not doing anything for them to have valid tag teams. The only one they had was Rogue Scholars. And if they were going to structure Rogue Scholars to take the titles, they should have allowed it to happen right now. Rogue Scholars should be in this position instead of the wrestling match they're going with right now. So if Biggie Langston and Dolph does not win this, I am completely confused of what they're doing with Hell No. But I do believe it's going to be a decent match. But that also depends on how Biggie Langston wrestles. I have not seen him in NXT. So I don't know how good he is. But this is his opportunity. The WWE, a lot of times, will bury their young talent. But sometimes they'll throw them a bone. And this is Biggie Langston's opportunity. He has to make a good impression right now. So even if, let's say, they don't win, showing Biggie Langston the way he is, being very dominant and showing that he has the ability to work in the ring and show some character and show some charisma, might still get him over. Dolph, I don't know what's going to happen. But I will mention about him later in this preview. Next, the match that I really feel could be much more higher on the card, but it's very hard to say that it would be, because even though it has some build to it, I don't think the WWE will do it. So this is Chris Jericho against Fandango. I'm saying it now. The one who is Y2J, baby, who loves his Jerichoholics to come over to him and sit near his Jericho 5000 and watch his highlight reels. And then he's going up against the one who has the flamingo drop, leg drop. The dancer, the one who has a nice looking woman with him, Johnny Curtis. How do I feel this match is going to end? I don't know. I'm surprised they allowed Johnny Curtis to get a WrestleMania match. I've heard some of the reviews about the guy. He has problems remembering his lines. He's not that good. And that really isn't very good to hear about a talent who's actually on the premier pay-per-view for the WWE. WrestleMania is how they launch new stars, no matter even if they don't get good matches. And if Johnny Curtis can't even perform properly or even do lines properly, you have to be told how to do a position, that's not good. Excuse me, I'm still have problems with congestion, so if I cough, I'm sorry. Do I believe they can put on a match? I don't know. Excuse me. I know Chris can put on a great match. He can. There is no way that I can doubt that Chris Jericho, Y2J, could not put on a great match. The X factor here is going to be Fandango. I just don't know. What is that? Oh, sorry, I thought I heard someone knocking at my door. But I just don't know what Fandango is able to do here. I'm actually quite concerned that this match may not go off well. I'm hoping it will. And if it does go off well, the person that really needs to get over here is Fandango. I know a lot of people saying, what about Chris Jericho? He's been jobbing so much. He's had barely any wins. He deserves a WrestleMania win. And they may give it to him. They may just let Fandango lose. And to be honest, Fandango seems to need this win, because if they're actually pushing him, he has to nail a great performer in a Chris Jericho. But honestly, I'd rather have a Chris Jericho have a signature win here. He's been jobbing for months. He jobbed for Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho jobbed for CM Punk. He jobbed for Dolph Ziggler. And anyone else that he has been coming back and forth for the last year and a half, he's jobbed. So I think he deserves a win. But if you really want to try and push a guy that really doesn't seem to be doing well, like I always say, if you got shit on your hands, you got to make it into lemonade. If you're pushing Fandango, giving him all these effects, giving him all this airtime, you don't have much of a choice but to let him win. Now, if he doesn't win, I don't know what they're going to do with the character after this. But I do have a good idea. If he does win, he can still have a feud with Chris Jericho afterward. Now, I'm not saying he couldn't still have a feud if he loses anyway. They'll still have a program. It's obvious. Chris Jericho is still going to have a program with Fandango after this. But to give Fandango something really to bite his teeth into, he needs a win. No matter even if he doesn't deserve one. Now I'm going to move on. Next, I'm saying it now because the reason I'm saying this mixed tag now is that I thought maybe the mixed tag, and it could be right after P. Diddy's performance, because he's going to be performing. But I thought that it might be too much. So they're going to be breaking up the tag team matches as much as they can throughout the night, because we got a lot of them. How many tag teams we got? We got one, two, three tag team matches. They got to break it up throughout the night. So I'm taking a guess, if it's not going to be past the P. Diddy performance, it's going to be maybe here or just before it. So that match is the mixed tag between Rogue Scholars and the Bellas versus the Funkadactyls and the Dancing Giants, Brodus Clay and Tensai. Now, I've said this before, that I'm not sure that this match should have even been done, because it really doesn't fully put anyone over. You could have had two separate feuds, but I felt because they're trying to push the Dancing Giants, you can see they've been winning, they've been getting a lot of airtime along with the Funkadactyls, and then they want to try and reward the Rogue Scholars for jobbing so much, and then reward the Bellas for coming back. So they decided two feuds that should be separate be mushed together for this program. Now, I said earlier, they should allow this program to be done on the pre-show and let the IC Championship be in there. But since they've done this, and since both tag team feuds have been, they're doing something with them. They have no choice but to squish them together. I still feel there's only one person that might get over in this. Unless the Bellas, like a Nikki Bella, is going to win this, who's going to do a pin on a Cameron or possible Naomi. I've said it already, that Naomi Knight, Trinity McCoy, I really believe, because they have been showing her periodically. The first person Fandango actually said is a beautiful, sensuous woman is Naomi. Naomi had a match on Wednesday Night Main Event, and people cheered their asses off for her. They just recently had a match, and Cameron jobbed instead of Naomi. And Naomi started the match with, I believe it was a Brie Bella, not a Nikki. Like I said, I still can't tell the difference between the sizes. Like I said, I think Nikki's shorter than Brie. You can leave a comment below, because I still can't tell them apart still. But the person that really looks like they're going to be pushed quietly. This is something that many people don't understand. Sometimes you can push someone under the radar and then show them, and then people won't be like, oh please, this is just bullshit, they just brought her out of the blue. No, you give little signs this person is coming. Little signs, and see if people want her or him. And then eventually you really bring them out. Remember, I think it was, I can't remember when, either it was at the Royal Rumble, I could be wrong, or TLC, that a Naomi had a shot at the Divas Championship, and people really were after it. Yeah, I think it was TLC. She had an opportunity. People really did like seeing her, and that was before Eve left. So if anyone is going to get over, if it's not a Bella twin, or maybe it might be, if it's a man, the only person I can really consider that should be brought over in this would be a Cody Rhodes. He's the most strongest talent they have between all four men. The second would be Damian. But for the women, if it's not, I think, a Nikki or a Brie, it probably either one of the Bellas, it's gotta be Naomi. Because out of all four women, she has the most potential, like a Cody Rhodes. And Cody Rhodes getting a chance to see and know a possible Naomi. Lucky motherfucker. That is such a beautiful, lovely woman. Now anyway, moving on. The next match, that would be before the like midway mark, where the P. Diddy show would come up. I believe would be Ryback and Mark Henry. Oh, wait. In the words of the great, the wonderful, the memorable Smokey, Mark motherfucking Henry. I'm not no Smokey, but I can say Mark motherfucking Henry like everybody. That's for you, Smokey. You're my boy. Can't wait to see you soon. But you know what? Seeing this match is actually one of the matches I'm actually interested in seeing. Really. They have built this decently well. I want to see two monsters go out and try to beat the shit out of each other. I don't know if they got some great chemistry. Hopefully they do. We really didn't get a chance to see that. But one of the problems with big, thick, muscular guys is that they don't move very well in the ring. There have been exceptions. Don't get me wrong. Goldberg was not a bad talent. He was pretty good moving around in the ring, and he was a big guy. Batista, yes, he was a monster, cock diesel motherfucker. But he could move pretty decently well in the ring. There are some exceptions to the rule of big guys being able to move around pretty well. Now, both guys might not move as well as you think. And seeing Ryback over the last couple of months, whenever they showed him, he doesn't really have a really good tank. So he gets winded pretty easily. Mark Henry's a much more older veteran, so he will know how to deal with probably tanking Ryback. He'll probably set up this match so it's not high-powered constantly. Mark Henry's a very smart man. He knows how to work a program where if he's up against another big guy, he'll know how to make it work and to slow the guy down so he doesn't tank so easily. So if the match is supposed to go 15 minutes, or at least near 10, he'll keep it so he doesn't wear him out too much, or force him not to wear so much out. Because Mark Henry is the veteran in this. Who would I think is going to win, and who do I want to win? It's pretty much easy. I want Mark Henry to beat the motherfucker up. I want him to win. But who do I believe must win this? It's got to be Ryback. Ryback has not been built well, and he has not had any pay-per-view wins in many months. I'd rather see a Mark Henry win because I'd rather see a Mark Henry in the title picture for the World Championship. But with Ryback, if they're going to move him into SmackDown instead of Raw, it would be understandable to let him go after the world title. So he would need to win and then start working on SmackDown and try and get that title there. So I want Mark Henry to win, but the person that should win is Ryback. Now the P. Diddy show, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not talking about music right now. This is only wrestling. It will be probably pretty damn good. So the next match I thought would be the mixed tag, but the match I'm thinking that comes right after that will be the World Championship, and that will be a ADR, a Trucker, a Zed Coulter, and a Ricardo Rodriguez. This is a big clusterfuck right here. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing in this case. They built this very well. I would rather see this well up the card. I'd rather see them move the Triple H Brock Lesnar lower. But I do not believe they're going to do this. A lot of people are questioning what's going to happen. Now, I'll bring my thoughts up with it. But I do believe after the halfway, the timeout show, whatever you want to call it, I really believe it's going to be that match. Who do I believe is going to win? I do believe it's a good possibility that Jack Swagger will win. They've been building Jack Swagger pretty well, even though he has to read lips as Zed is talking so he can keep up with the dialogue he's been taught, because he can't remember it that well. But I do believe he's going to win. Do I believe he's going to win clean? I don't know. There's a good chance he'll win dirty. And there's nothing wrong with that. Let a heel win dirty. But there are instances a good wrestler who is a heel could kick ass. So that's not Jack Swagger. I'm sorry. Jack Swagger is not a good enough of a wrestler in that sense. Like a Kurt Angle, who is well known, not because of his skills, but they allowed him just to kick ass and stay an evil ass wrestler who can just beat you on the mat. I don't think they're going to do that with Jack Swagger. I believe it's going to be dirty. A dirty victory. But he will win. Who do I want to win? ADR hasn't been doing that bad as a face, but I kind of feel like he's going against the grain, but they didn't really have much of a choice. They needed new faces, so they had to turn him. So I really don't have a want for either one. I just see it for what it is. Now the next match, surprisingly, is going to be, and I've thought about this one, pretty much, historically, the Undertaker CM Punk match usually isn't near the last match on the card. It's usually second to third to the last. So my guess is the Undertaker and CM Punk will not be the second to last match. It'll be the third to the last match. That's what I believe. Now, this match, we know CM Punk is good in the ring enough. Good in the ring that he can work a good program. Undertaker, even in the weakened condition he is, and he's not in great shape. He's got a lot of injuries. But he can still work a good match, and CM Punk will take good care of him. The question really is this: will CM Punk get the streak? What do I want and what do I believe they will do? What I want is simple. The streak should not drop to anyone at this time, because there is no one built properly to take that streak. Even a John Cena, after this match, even if he wins or loses against The Rock and they restructure him, see, unless Vincent Kenny McMahon is willing to let John Cena off the chain and get something different, he even isn't good enough to take that title. But they would have no choice but to give it to him, because they have no one else. So what I want is for no winners, and just let The Undertaker keep the streak and retire with it. Let him just keep it. Unless he's going to run a program beyond WrestleMania into WrestleMania 31, 30, 32, and then they can build up maybe a Ryback. Maybe they could restructure a John Cena. Maybe a Batista will come back. I've heard the rumors he's coming back. Excuse me. Maybe he would be the best person to give it to. We got Brock Lesnar, who's supposed to stay for maybe 2 years or more. Maybe with restructure, he could take it. But really, a CM Punk does not deserve this because he's not been structured right. Now, what do I believe they're actually going to do? Honestly, the way they did Raw, and I don't know what they're going to do about this SmackDown. I haven't seen it yet. They may drop it to him. I'm hoping they don't. Don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen. And don't think I don't like CM Punk. I've said it so many times. I do like CM Punk. He's a good talent. But obviously, he's not been structured right. But they may just give him that streak. Because right now, if The Undertaker's in such bad shape, they have no choice but to pass it on to someone they think might benefit from it. So they may give it to him. He doesn't deserve it because they haven't done anything right with him. But I think they may do it. Do I believe that's right? No. But I would be surprised if The Undertaker kept it. I want to see him keep it. But this is what I think. Next, the next match will be, I think this is the fourth to the last, not to the third to the last. I'm sorry. I'm still upset about thinking about CM Punk actually winning. But that's the fourth to the last. I think they're going to leave it lower. My mistake. The third to the last is the All-Stars versus the Shield. The way they've structured this, I believe the All-Stars will win. I'm not going to really do an in-depth explanation with that. I'm not. We've seen the matches before with them, separately. And I'm sure we will see them together, and some of them will have something good. Do I believe Sheamus or Orton is going to turn heel? One of them might turn heel. But I still have this feeling that Orton and Sheamus is going to become a tag team later. They're going to go after the World Tag Team titles. That's what I believe. So there's a good possibility you're not going to see either one of them turn. Big Show is already still showing heel tendencies, so he could still switch back to a heel. But even though he does look like he's turned face. So, I do believe the All-Stars might win this. And I don't believe Sheamus or Randy Orton will turn heel. I wouldn't mind either one of them doing, because Sheamus does seem to function not too bad as a heel. We know Orton's much better as a heel because he sucks as a face. So the next match is Triple H versus Brock Lesnar. As I said earlier, I'm not sure if Triple H is going to lose this. And I don't believe he's going to retire. If Brock Lesnar wins this match, the question is going to be for me, it's not about the match. We know this no-holds-barred match. It's going to be probably good. But it depends on if they're willing to go all out for it. Because what happened with Cena and Brock last time, they didn't go totally all out. But they didn't do that, well, they didn't do that great, to be honest. They didn't. But you know what? They could go all out and it could be a good match. But I'm not thinking about that. What is going to happen to the Raw the next day? If Triple H loses, will he truly retire? Because I don't believe he will. I don't believe that he will retire. I just don't buy it. He hasn't been around long enough to make something that could be believable. And I'm not saying he doesn't do good promo segments. I just don't believe it. I don't. Because if he would have retired, WrestleMania 28 would have been his retirement because he lost to The Undertaker. So you tell me below what you think about this, because I'm not seeing it. I don't. Who do I think is going to win? It's probably that it's going to be Triple H because he lost twice to Brock. But if Brock does win, I just don't buy he's going to retire. He's just going to demand for a new match. And if he doesn't demand for a new match, maybe he'll turn heel and just say, fuck you. Now the final match. It's going to be Cena versus The Rock. Oh wait, I forgot. Between, I said, the World Championship between ADR and Jack Swagger and The Undertaker and CM Punk, maybe a match between AJ and Caitlyn. Who do I think is going to win? Probably AJ. Because of interference with Dolph, or she finds some way to win. I'm just going to put it at that because I don't like the AJ character anymore. I don't. But the Cena and Rock match. What do we got? What do I want? And why I think it's going to happen? What do I want? Is The Rock to retain. Because I do believe they can use The Rock to turn Cena heel. Even if it's partial. Let him become a betweener. Or better yet, John Cena can stay face, but he has more emotion. He could still be a face, but he could give more emotion, more anger, more frustration. He never does it. He always comes in and with that goofy smile. When he did his debate with The Rock, was one of the few times I can say either they allowed him to show more emotion or he was willing to show more emotion. Or both. So I want The Rock to stay. Just so that John Cena would change his character a little bit. He just needs to show more emotion. Not just to say, I'll rise above it. Bullshit. We need to see frustration to make him more believable as a face or a heel or a betweener. We just don't get it. Now, what do I believe is going to happen? John Cena will win. And The Rock will say his piece. He may stay around for a little while. Maybe he may have a feud with someone before he leaves. But I think The Rock, either way, excuse me, I believe The Rock, either way, if he wins or if he loses, The Rock is not going to disappear immediately after WrestleMania. I say he'll leave about 3 or 4 months afterward. Because I believe he's going to do a program with someone else. Maybe it might be with a Brock Lesnar. Maybe it might be with someone else entirely that we haven't recognized. But I believe that's going to happen. So this is my predictions for WrestleMania 2009. I hope you enjoyed Zane's View. Subscribe and comment to my channel, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this. And I'll be doing my WrestleMania 29 review when it comes up. I hope you'll like it. And oh, I will be doing Impact and I will be doing SmackDown if I don't get sicker again. I've been sick on and off. Have a good evening.